Welcome back to another episode of Faith Fuel Devotional. So glad that you decided to tune in. Can I have a couple moments of your time? Because I want to tell you today how to be blessed. We've been looking at the Beatitudes, and these really deal with our attitudes that we have in our lives, the attitudes that we need to be in order to receive the blessings of God. We looked at our attitude towards sin, attitude towards self, satisfaction, so many things. Today, we're looking at our attitude towards spite. Spite, not sprite, spite. Sometimes when it gets cold out, we like to rub our hands together, breathe in them, in order to do what? To warm them up. Sometimes when our hands become cold, they become hard to move. And when we warm them up, that we are at our best, they feel the best. This idea in Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 7 is, "Blessed are the merciful." The warm. That's what it has to do, being warm towards somebody, to have compassion. The opposite of mercy, obviously, would be cold towards someone. What's your attitude when it comes to this area of spite? Do you become cold towards certain people, or are you willing to change the temperature of how you feel towards them? Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. The Bible teaches if we are warm towards others, when we have the right to be cold towards them, God will in turn be warm towards us. Are you a person that is merciful? The word, again, warmth, compassion. There's a lot of people in Jesus' day that asked him for his mercy. I can think of two blind men in Matthew chapter 9, verse 27 that said, "Thou son of David, have mercy upon us." They were crying out for mercy. There was a woman of Cana in Matthew chapter 15 and verse number 22 who said, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." She was pleading for God's mercy. A certain man came to Jesus in Matthew chapter 17 and verse 15 and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed, and for oft times he cast himself or falleth into the fire, and oftentimes into the water." There were many people that came and beseeched Jesus for his mercy. Jesus demonstrated mercy and compassion through his miracles, through his sermon, and even through his death. Matthew 9:36 says, "When he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion or mercy on them, because they fainted as having and were scattered as being sheep with no shepherd." Matthew chapter 14:14, Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion toward them, mercy, and he healed their sick. Mark chapter 6 and verse 34, Jesus, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were sheep not having a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. Jesus demonstrated mercy in his life by teaching, healing, and even through dying for people. Why is being merciful so difficult for us? Have you ever thought about that? Sometimes when it comes to giving mercy to people, it's one of the hardest things that it is to do. I guess the quick answer to that is because it's easier to be cold, to be mean, to be, to turn ourselves away, to be uncaring, to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? To become apathetic, to be numb to people's needs and issues. It's very easy to do that. In our sin nature, in our natural state, we are not merciful people. Our core belief is to really wrong anyone that wrongs us. If somebody hurts me, well, I now have the right to hurt you. That's our core belief in this life. But is that the right belief? Isn't it amazing how sometimes the things that we think to be true that feel right are the complete opposite of what God teaches us in the Bible? Romans chapter 12 verse 19 says, "Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves." Avenge yourself. Don't do it. Don't do that. But rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, "Vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord." Sometimes we think the golden rule is do unto others before they do unto you. I got to look out for myself and take care of myself, Pastor Dustin. I can't be, trusting people because they're going to hurt me. I can't give people an inch because they'll take a mile. But Jesus said in Matthew 5:39, which we'll see later, but I say unto you that you resist not evil, for whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Just like hungering and thirsting for righteousness is not in our nature, just like embracing meekness is not in our nature, and being poor in spirit, so is being merciful. And as you know, as we go through these Beatitudes, they get more difficult and difficult, and they go right against our core belief. It is right for you to give mercy to that person who has wronged you. It is the right thing to do to give that person a second chance, and a third chance, and a fourth chance, if God so tells you to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people that long to seriously cause us harm, and we need to watch out for them. But if we can give mercy, and if we can give forgiveness and compassion to other people, that's a good thing to do. Sometimes we need to give mercy not just to specific people, but to people in general. We turn off society as a whole. It doesn't matter who the person is. We just don't trust them. Can I ask you to be willing to give people another chance? Yes, people are foolish. Yes, people are mean. Yes, they don't care. Why should we care? God tells us that we are supposed to be merciful, that we are supposed to be warm, compassionate people and seek to be that. He says, there is a call to compassion. Blessed are the merciful. Why? Because there is a considerable consequence, and this is a good consequence. For the person that is merciful shall obtain mercy. How do we obtain mercy? How do I receive mercy in this life? And the answer is by being a person that gives mercy. How do I have friends in my life? By being friendly. That's what the Bible teaches. You reap what you sow. If you are uncaring, you are going to reap people not caring about you. But if you are caring and considerate to people, when you don't have to be, guess what you're going to reap? It's this idea of what comes around goes around. And in God's economy, whatever you put in the ground is going to come back. What have you been putting in the ground lately? Have you been putting in the ground this coldness? Well, guess what you're going to reap here in a couple weeks, months, or days? You're probably going to reap that. If you are complaining about how people are treating you right now, why don't you stop and ask this? How are you treating other people? Not just certain people that you like, but all people. Okay, because we want to pick and choose. Well, I'm really nice to this person and they're mean to me. Okay, you're really nice to that person, but what about this person over here? You're really nice to them too. Well, I could care less about them. Okay. You will reap what you sow. If you reap mercy, it's probably because you're sowing mercy. So this idea of sowing and reaping, you reap what you sow was number one. You reap more than you sow. That's number two. You reap later than you sow. And there's this misnomer about this idea of sowing and reaping that we can obtain mercy by giving mercy. And the truth is, we by our nature are not merciful. So we must ask God to help us with this, to stop the cycle before it starts. The answer is to get mercy first from God. 1 Peter 2:9 says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and a holy nation, and a peculiar people. Should show forth praise unto him that hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which in time past were not a people, but now are the people of God, which have obtained mercy, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. So this idea of mercy and this whole passage is building upon each other. It assumes, as you read through this, that you are building fellowship with God through being poor in spirit, through being meek, through being willing to mourn over our sins and be hungering and thirst after righteousness. The next step is to be merciful to people. The question is not, are really you merciful, but are you allowing him to make you merciful? And here's the last question I thought I really wanted to get across. Is being merciful truly worth it? I mean, is it really worth the effort to put myself out there? Showing mercy in a hateful world seems like an uphill battle, Pastor Dustin. Wouldn't it be better just to, fight fire with fire? If there's one thing that this world needs, It is somebody that gives mercy when it isn't deserved. And it does make a difference in this world. Don't underestimate the difference of mercy when it's not deserved. It can really change our lives. Think about God's mercy to us. Don't be a Christian who only does right if it works out in your favor. It's so important. Sometimes doing right is a thing that we have to do by faith. And when we do that, it really makes a difference. Look over at Matthew chapter 5, verse 38. It says, Ye have heard it been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil. But whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, give him thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. Give to him that asketh thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not away. Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Why? That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. And this is the idea, that when we do the hard things, when we do the things that seem like, man, it's just not going to pay off in the long run, you're wrong. You're wrong, because God will bless you for that. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Have a great day. God bless you.